Let's talk about lubrication on a gun real quick. So yesterday had an AR dropped off. It's having some cycling issues. It's pretty clear that the owner tried to fix these issues by adding a little bit of extra of the lubrication sauce. Your gun isn't cycling, adding more lube might help if it's dry. But if you've already got lube on your gun and it's not cycling, more lube isn't going to fix it. Now, fast forward to the present, I'm working on a 1911 that the trigger was seized up on it. Hammer was cocked back, trigger doesn't do anything. Had to take it apart as was. Now, I was able to get most of the parts out except for the trigger itself. It was seized inside the frame. Now, during the disassembly, I noticed some crud. It's like there's our spring for your sear, and we got your mainspring housing. It's got some crud on it, and the hammer has a bit of crud on it. Before, I had to use some Croil, if you know, you know, to get it apart. Everything was bone dry. There's the safety. You can see the rust on there. And finally, the trigger. Now, if it wasn't for the Croil that I used to get this out, the rust would be even more apparent on it, and it would still be in the gun. If you're wondering how much lube to use on a gun, don't put the whole bottle in it. If you're having issues with it and it's already lubed, don't lube it more. If your gun is dry and it starts changing colors to orange, probably take it apart, clean it up, and put some oil on it. You don't have to go crazy. Just go to the hardware store, get you some of these little acid brushes. You can get like 50 of them for $5 or maybe even less than that. I don't know. I buy them by the case. And really any gun oil will work. I'm not sponsored by any. I buy all my own. I've got my preferences. Don't have to go into all that. Any gun oil is going to be better than no oil at all. And be careful about some oils because stuff like Croil, it's really good for loosening up rusted together parts. But if you leave it on there, it can start to eat away bluing. Other than that, it's the best penetrating oil I've used. Hashtag not sponsored yet. When you're lubing a gun, do it in a correct proportion. A light coating is all you need. And a good rule of thumb between oil and grease is if the parts slide together, like you've got a slide and frame, oil. If it rotates, such as a bolt on a bolt action rifle, where you got the lugs that rotate into position to lock, use grease. So sliding, use oil. Rotating, use grease. Don't add more oil if you've already oiled your gun and it's not working.